All right. Hey, guys. So glad you could be on the call tonight. Welcome to Shelby's team call. And I just want to say, guys, you are so blessed to have Shelby as your leader. And I'm super, super excited for where her team's headed and where we're all going as a team and as a company. I feel like the hardest stage is behind us. And so it's onward and upward from here on out. So this is an awesome time to be in Plexus. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Megan Goff. I'm a Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus. And 4 years ago, Plexus found me. Plexus found me. I was in the midst of a health crisis. But I actually said no way to Plexus. I thought it looked like weight loss, and I thought it looked like an MLM. I was like, not interested. Thanks, but no thanks. And I was actually at the time working with a naturopath who was helping me recover from mold issues in our home. She was really just basically working with a root issue. So I didn't want to go the med route. I'm thankful that I was able to find this particular doctor who just basically helped me heal my gut and correct nutrient deficiencies. And I was obviously detoxing, being out of the moldy environment. That was huge. Diet was crucial. I was very, very careful with my diet for 18 months. Well, actually longer than that. But just I had to stay off of inflammatory foods and foods that were really upsetting my health. So anyways, fast forward 18 months and I started seeing all these people on Facebook posting about Plexus. And so naturally I reached out to all of them, not realizing, hello, you're going to have to choose someone to sign up with. But anyways, I was very much tracking with what they were sharing. They were sharing about gut health. They were sharing about root issues, overall health and wellness. It wasn't what I was originally thought about Plexus, because it's all about timing for people, and normally people have to be exposed to Plexus multiple times, just because a lot of people have certain mindsets about it, or they don't see that they have a need for it. So Valentine's Day 2015, 18 months after I was initially introduced to Plexus, I hopped in only for products. I had a lot of hope and saw potential with. Well, I saw potential with the business aspect, but I was mainly just trying the products. I popped in 2 weeks later. I quit because I thought it was negatively impacting my baby, the milk supply that I was having. Turns out he was tongue and lip tied. So I got back on the products. I was researching like a crazy lady, just learning. I was subconsciously building my belief in the products. So I've had a very solid conviction and excitement about the products. And I thought, okay, cool. But what basically was a clicker for me to start sharing and to share on Facebook was that I saw some other people start sharing. And I thought, okay, I'm either going to do this or I'm not going to do this. Like, it's now or never. And so I was already sharing stuff about health anyways on Facebook. And so it was very organic, really, to transition and do that, where Plexus was just an extension of that. Just simply, I viewed it only as educating people about the products. Like, I thought it was cool. I thought it was really fascinating. I went silver at the end of April, so I did not fast start silver. It was almost 3 months after I started. And honestly, I did not see the business for me. Like, I remember sitting at Jessica Heffley's event, very skeptical. Like, I had so much going through my brain. It was just like whirling with questions and thoughts, and I didn't see it for me. I was like, well, maybe I could get 20 people on my team by the time I hit, my year anniversary, maybe. But what I realized was that once I hit silver, my belief was there. It was like, okay, who else can I help? And it kind of triggered an excitement, and I realized I was competitive with myself. And I was like, what's next? I had that fire in my belly. I was ready to help people. And so I was very bold, passionate, excited. And what that did was create the big mo. That's what I call it, is momentum. And when you get momentum, you ride that wave for as long as it lasts. And it's very exciting, very fun. People start catching your excitement and your passion. And yeah, so anyways, from my journey from silver to emerald was 11 months. I had my pedal down. I was not necessarily business mindset. I had no idea of the comp plan. Like I was maybe a Ruby before I understood how I was getting paid. Like I was just like, cool, I get paid. That's neat. Okay, back to IPA. I want to help more people get signed up for the products. And I had big goals. I had very specific goals. Every month I had goals set. How many people I personally wanted to sponsor, how many new ambassadors, how many new customers, how many ambassadors as a team I wanted to add. And I'll just say that through all this, this journey, Plexus, I don't know, God has provided for us through Plexus, and very unexpectedly, because my husband initially said, no, we will never do that. Like, we're not those people. He didn't care if I shared the products, but his mindset shifted a lot. And he saw his belief was built because he saw the products work for me and the kids. And then he's my guinea pig. So I just had him try the products. And I always hesitate to share a whole lot about the business part because he had a good job prior to Plexus and he's always been a great provider. But we had prayed for years for something different, like something that would allow him to be home more. He was a road construction supervisor in Champaign, and so he had an hour commute both ways, sometimes more than that, depending on where he was working. And then, he was never home. And we have 5 boys and 1 girl, and so definitely I, saw a vision with Plexus and like, this is cool. I knew other families that were doing it full time, and that was their bread and butter. So I was like, well, that's neat. And so we had actually a friend of ours, a close friend, said to us about last year at this time. He said, at what point are you going to realize that this is God's provision for you? Because you're telling me that you guys have been praying for years for a solution to Justin being gone all the time. And hello, like, at what point, how many times is he going to eclipse his salary at, the former job before you guys realize, like, this is legit, it's not going away, it's here. And so it was kind of an aha moment for us, but it was very much a step out in faith for him to actually resign from that job. He had the full blessing of the company that he was with, left under good terms and all that, but transitioned over September will be the year anniversary of that. And he assumed that he was senior Ruby at the time. He assumed that he would fly to Emerald and fly to the top very quickly. And the whole last year has been basically like this in our business. All across Plexus, it has been till this summer when they introduced all the new products, and there's been a shift in momentum. But I will just say that, it's been a huge blessing, and that if you guys see potential, maybe your only goal, and that everyone has different goals, and it's perfectly fine, but maybe your goal is to get your products covered, or maybe your goal is to make an extra 500 a month, or make an extra 1,000 a month, or whatever your particular goal is. Like Plexus, for whatever reason, God has allowed it in our lives, and I view it as a gift. Like, it's here. We get to use this as a tool to bless other people, to bless our families, to impact kingdom. Like, life is about relationships, right? And this is a relationship business. And I'm amazed at the friendships God's brought, the relationships people, I don't know. It's just really, really interesting how God opens doors. But I'll just say my fear with sharing my story is that I come across as unrelatable, because I think people think, oh my word, like, well, that's cool for you, but who does that? Like, who, is that really realistic for me? But I'll just say, I remember being in your shoes and thinking, no way, like, that's cool. Jessica's almost diamond. That's when I joined her team. She was sapphire, almost diamond. And I thought, wow, that's really fast. Like, who goes that fast? But the cool thing is the opportunity is there for the people that want to do it. And there are still plenty of people in the world that want what we have. We're not even worldwide yet. And I think it's really neat. There's entrepreneurs, people looking for opportunities every day. And I'll share a story in a little bit about two girls that I did not know prior to the spring that have joined my team, and just met them somewhat randomly when we were on a trip, two different trips. But I'll just say, when I'm doing coaching calls, like, I feel like there's vastly different goals, and some people may simply want to get their products covered. Other people see, a rank from the income disclosure, and they're like, oh my word, if I can make it to Ruby, I could, quit my job, or I could, that could be my retirement, or, oh my word, this could be like college funding for the kids. And I think it's just natural for us to compare. And so my encouragement is not to compare to my journey or to compare to Shelby's journey, but to view your journey as your specific journey God has you on for this season of your life. And what an opportunity. So that's exciting. So I just wanted to share a few things. I was asking Justin, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to chat with these people, doing these team calls and things like that. What would you say? Like, how do you do a call for people that are like all over the board? Some people have been on, for 2 years. Other people just joined today. And he's like, oh, that's easy. And he like rattles off, his 4-point sermon in like 2 seconds. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe you should do the call, because you make it sound so simple. But he could just give me 4 points. And so I'll just share it with you guys. And he said, the bottom line is, this business is simple. It's a follow the leader business. It's not hard. You don't have to recreate the wheel. So it's very simple. It takes consistency. And I loved this quote. The consistency is the sum of small efforts day in and day out. That's consistency. And your consistency will build your credibility. And I know Shelby has said this before. She hasn't quit. And guess what? People that have quit, their people come to her because she's still doing Plexus. So that consistency pays off. That consistency builds credibility. We had someone on our team that contacted Justin, and Justin's like, oh, well, don't you know so-and-so? She does Plexus. And the guy's like, oh, she does? Well, I thought she quit because she quit posting, or she doesn't post very often anymore. And so Justin reached out to his girl in his downline, and he's like, hey, so-and-so thinks you're not doing Plexus anymore because they didn't see you post. And that is kind of hard to tell someone. Like, I guess for me, I would feel bad, like, telling one of my teammates, like, hey, by the way, so-and-so doesn't think you do Plexus anymore because you're not posting. I would feel bad saying that, but that girl was really grateful. She's like, oh my word, you're right. Like, so that consistency totally builds credibility. And then the third thing that he said, personal growth. Personal growth is so key. Some people come into Plexus with a certain skill set, and some of us have more, our personal development skills are higher than some people's. I didn't come into Plexus with a lot of skills. Like, I had a basic people skills, but I think the encouraging thing with this business is that you can learn. Like, we're all learning. It's a total learning curve. My journey from brand new ambassador to Sapphire ambassador has just been one big fat learning curve. And it's been fun. Like, every step along the way, even when I'm failing. Like, I think people want to think success is like this, trek up the mountain, when in reality, it's like this. Like, you have some highs, you have some lows. You have some high highs, you have some low lows. You fail your way to success. You learn by doing. I think it's the 4-H way. That's been my motto from the get-go with Plexus. It's like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to try stuff. If it doesn't work, we'll try something different. And then the fourth thing that he said is that it's a numbers game. It's not luck. I think it's easy to look at people that are successful and say, oh my word, she just got lucky. She had so-and-so and so-and-so join her, and so-and-so and so-and-so. Well, really, in reality, the person that reaches out the most wins. And I will also say the person that reaches out the most to specific people. Like, I think this is the main idea. Talk to a lot. You have to talk to a lot to sign a few. So, for instance, I may have to talk to 100 people, and out of those 100, I might get responses back from 10. And from those 10, I might sign between 2 and 5 over a course of time. Okay, this is not like within a month. It's like months. As the months go on, you'll see those fruits of your labor come. The other thing too, in light of not luck, you'll get luckier if you reach out to higher profile people. So for example, I realized when I was Emerald, I'm like, guess what? We have a wholesale team. The reason why we don't have a whole lot of business builders is because we don't reach out about the business. We get sick people on our team. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with helping sick people. We love sick people. But in order to have your team and your business grow, you have to reach out to people that we call red. Everyone loves red people. And honestly, in a business like this, you really, in light of the skill set thing that I was talking about, people are like one primary color, if you're familiar with that color network marketing book. But I think as you learn in Plexus, you'll learn to be more of a rainbow. You'll learn to have some green, learn the product stuff. You'll learn to have some yellow. We want to help people. You'll learn to have some blue because, hey, friends are fun. Party is exciting. And you might have to learn some red skills, meaning you have to look at the numbers. You have to get some fire in your belly to go for it and get the things done, right? But I'll just say, consider as you're talking to people, as you're reaching out, don't just go for the easy people. People that are like, oh, sure, I'll try your products. It's also people in your life that are successful and that you see potential, like, oh my word, you would be really good at Plexus. Have you ever considered it? Like, it doesn't have to be, honestly, it's just looking for an open door. Like, I will tell people, like, you would be awesome at Plexus. I would love for you to be on our team. Curious if you're open to learning more about it. Like, to me, that's very, like, I would say that to someone in person. And to me, it's not, I don't even know, pressuring or anything like that. Like, just kind of like nonchalant. Curious if you've ever considered it. So I know Justin, he also loves the Apostle Paul and a lot of Paul's letters in the Bible. And he said Paul talked about laboring more abundantly than they all, meaning Paul was successful and was more successful than other people because he labored more abundantly. He was a harder worker than other people. So Justin said, in light of success, he said, if you compare people's IPAs, and when I say IPA, I'm simply meaning income producing activity. So if you compare someone that is, a senior ambassador compared to a gold ambassador, there's going to be a difference in IPA, right? If you compare a silver ambassador to a sapphire ambassador in their daily IPA, will there be a difference? I would say yeah, because as you work towards being successful, your workload is going to look different, and the people that are signing more people are simply reaching out more. It's as simple as that. Like, it sounds super simple. I have top four things that I highly suggest doing for every single person in Plexus that wants to share. I highly recommend getting this book and reading it, or getting the audio version. There's a free download, so seriously, there's like no excuses for why not to get it, but it really helps you deal with the head trash, and all of us have head trash. That has been very, very helpful, and a top book recommendation for anyone starting Plexus is Secret Code to Success by Noah St. John. And the second thing is this lovely thing called the IPA Journal. It simply gives you a plan for your day. You're adding new people on Facebook, you're doing some Facebook posting, you're reaching out, and you're following up to people. So that's super, super crucial. It's like the lifeline of your business. And if you invest in one of those and you fill it out, I guarantee you will see a huge ROA, return, what did I say? ROI, return on investment. So anyways, those are two things. The other two things I would say are resources. Actually, I have three resources. It's virtually impossible to not be successful with Plexus in this season because there's so many resources available. It's like insane how many resources have become available since I joined. So there's the silver rank up roadmap in your back office. If you haven't checked that out, go click on tools and then rank up roadmap. And encourage your people to plug into that. It'll help them get to silver ASAP. And we want lots of people to go silver this month because they have that double bonus. So really, it's kind of a no-brainer because they'll get their products covered for the next couple months. Plus, everyone has a couple people in their life that needs Plexus, right? So that's my encouragement there, is to plug into that. Also, the pinned post on our team page is full of resources, YouTube channels, you know, a lot of good stuff. I've posted more things in there. Actually, a lot of the things from the notes in my phone, I have there. So my top 3 product videos, my top 2 comp plan videos, I just save those into the notes in my phone. That way I can copy paste to people that want to learn more about Plexus. And then Megan's Notes, if you search it by hashtag Megan's Notes, all lowercase, no spaces, that's a very, very good resource. And then basically after 2 years in Plexus, I realized that I pretty much get asked the same questions and I have the same format for you know, from reach out to sign up. So definitely utilize that. And honestly, with Plexus, it takes a lot of self-motivation. Like, you're not an employee. So having that motivation to go train yourself. And, you know, as a homeschool mom, like, I just feel like we're always learning, right? And anyone can learn these skills, learn what to say, learn how to be better at what we do, right? So I just have a few questions to ask you guys. And I'm framing it with, you know, for you guys to ask yourselves this. So the number 1 question is, what is your goal and what is your why? Those 2 questions is like your fuel for your Plexus journey. If you don't have those 2 things, you'll probably peter out like right down the road, right? As soon as something gets hard. So those 2 things are very important to have it written down and actually share it with someone. So maybe your sponsor, or maybe it's a sideline teammate. And for you, maybe your goal is to get your products paid for, or maybe you have a rank goal set in mind. But whatever it is, you want to make a plan. And then you want to do the steps to make it happen. So I would say IPA, which is your income producing activity, basically the tasks that are going to create growth and make you money are going to be these things: reach outs, which is prospecting and recruiting, follow-ups, investing in your team, samples, and smart social media. So those are the top things that I would say in light of IPA. I highly encourage business hours, power hours. I know Angie, I was just on a call with Angie's team, and she said Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays she does an 8:30 a.m. and an 8:30 p.m. 30-minute IPA time. I'm like, oh my word, that is hardcore. But she offers that to her team because she said that basically it's like this setup where you hop on a Zoom call, you chit chat for a few minutes, and then you just boom, right into your Plexus work. And it really gives you fuel, encouragement. Since we can't all be at the same coffee shop, you know, doing this together, it's like the next best thing. And I think it really helps people that where reach outs are hard for them. And so you can like ask questions, you can just unmute for a minute and say, hey, what would you say to this? I just got this response. I mean, sometimes just chit-chatting about it with other Plexus people is so helpful. I host them every once in a while on Zoom, and people hop on with me. But anyways, so setting up those business hours, even if you just have 15 minutes or 30 minutes, guys, seriously, how many voice messages can you send in 15 minutes? If you have your little Frank's list there. And one word about Frank's list, if you haven't made your list of people that you think would be interested or at least intrigued by Plexus, you can start making that. Start with 10 and then work up to 30 people. And then I know that I was on a call last night and they were suggesting from that list of 30 people, pick the top 5 or 6 that you think that you really feel like if you made a phone call and just said, hey mom, so I'm starting this Plexus journey. I really want you to do it with me. Would you do it? Who, those 5 or 6 people, guess what? You'll be silver by the end of the week, right? If you do that. So I liked that idea of, you don't maybe have to go out and make 100 lists, but I mean, your Frank's list is going to grow and evolve, but so stick it on your fridge, and as God brings people to your mind, boom, right on the list. And honestly, all you have to do is be brave for 30 seconds. Put it on your calendar. Hey, I'm going to reach out to so-and-so and so-and-so tomorrow, and do it. Okay? You can be it. You can be brave for 30 seconds. And then guess what? They might say, hey, I'm totally on board. I've heard of this, and tell me more about it. I think a lot of times we assume the negative, at least I do, instead of assuming, you know what, they might be praying for an answer, or they might be, have been exposed to Plexus enough that they're actually ready to jump on board. And you just have to simply reach out and ask them. So then that was the number one thing, is your goal and your why. And the number two thing is belief. Now, I will say the belief comes in four main areas, and is really the foundation for your Plexus business and for your journey. And I remember Tamara Holloway doing a video on belief. I think it was on her team page, and it was like, I clicked on it. I was like, what is this girl talking about? I have no idea what she's saying. But she was talking about belief. I'm like, can you please just get me a call about Slim? I want to learn about the products. But anyways, I think belief covers four main key areas. So belief in network marketing, belief in the products, belief in the business, and belief in yourself. And so I would just ask you, where are you lacking? If you feel like you're lacking in any one of those key areas, then I would plug yourself into some training or some information on those things. I kind of view my car as a rolling university, so no time wasted. If I'm doing dishes or I'm working on some stuff in the kitchen, I have some calls playing, so I can just be feeding my mind, feeding my Plexus soul, so to speak, so that I can be better at what I'm doing. I mean, I'm constantly learning. I feel like I've learned a lot about how to word things since I started, but I'm always open to learn more. Okay, so the third question I'm going to ask you guys is your foot on the brake? Where at in your mindset or within your fears is your foot just slammed down? We got to figure out what those things are, because it'll put the brake on in your business big time. And you might have fears that are subconscious, like you don't even realize that you have them. And so I know Jessica Heffley, I was chatting with her, and she said the thing that I ask people the most is, what is your fear? What is your biggest fear? And I really feel like the way to overcome fear is to acknowledge it. And that's the first step to overcoming it, is to acknowledge it. And then evaluate, like, okay, well, why am I having this fear? Asking yourself the question. Sometimes it's just an irrational fear. I know when I started Plexus, I was very fearful that people would think I was trying to sell them something. And also fearful of what people would think. Even now, like, I still have fears. Because there's a couple people that I know see my Plexus posts, or my posting on Facebook, and I annoy them. Like, I overpost. Like, that's what people would say about me. But you know what? I've decided, for every fear, Emily Gibson said this last night. She said, for every fear that I've had, she said, I've been paid tenfold, because I've faced that fear and did it anyways, did it scared. And that's my biggest thing. Kind of like having a baby. Like, there's no way out of this except to go through it. I'm going to have to do it scared. So Plexus is the same way. Like, I don't know that I have done Plexus from the pinnacle of confidence and, belief in myself, which, but one thing I have done is I've been consistent, and I have just done it anyways. If I feel scared, I'm like, who cares? Sometimes I've come to a mental block before and be like, oh my word, how do I say this? Or what do I say? Or I feel stuck because I'm trapped in my brain with my fears. Honestly, I have to get out of myself. What will they think of me? What will, it's all about me, instead of, you know what? How can I bless them? Maybe my reach out will change their life forever, either with the products or with the business. So anyways, okay, let's see. I'm just going to touch on social media really quick. One thing I see people doing so much more of that I totally track with is sharing stories. People track with your story, even little snippets of your story. I think it's really beneficial to write out your whole Plexus story and your whole Plexus journey, and then from there, pull out bits and pieces of it. Like last night, go to my wall, I shared a little bit about my story of Shoshana sharing Plexus with me. I said, no way. And that's how I started it. I think I said, nope, no way. Number one, it looks like an MLM. Number two, it looks like weight loss. No thanks, supplement snob over here, not interested. Thank you very much. But people track with like short, simple in small stories. So, and they track with what you're sharing. And so as you share on Facebook, really evaluate even go through and scroll your Facebook wall. Like what does it look to other people if they're going to click on your profile? Do they see, well, just what do they see? You want to be someone that draws people into your life and what you're doing, what the funny things your kids are saying, ask questions. Those things are all so, so very important because we're basically learning to be social media marketers. And yeah, it's one of those things. I think the more you do it, the better you get. Okay, so it's just one of those things to practice every day, being consistent. And then let's see. I'll just say this last point real quick, and that is, in order to advance, you have to build a team. And I feel like Plexus was so very organic for me from the beginning, like even in light of a Frank's list. Like I didn't say, okay, today I'm going to go make a Frank's list. I just was like, oh, this stuff that I'm learning is so cool. I should just like share with people on Facebook what I learned today about what I read. Okay, cool, made a post. Man, I have this like list. I just have all these people in my brain. Like you keep coming to mind on my Plexus. I'll just write them down on my list. Like I didn't have any sort of set thing, but I think the things that we share on the team page now, it's a lot more systematic. But they're the things that we did to be successful. Okay, so in order to build a team, okay, this was like it really freaked me out, honestly. 3 people was great. I went silver, hooray! But then when I thought about going gold and like a team, that's just like scary, super scary to me. One of my strengths was that I could sign people, but I was not good at training. I was not good at leading. Half the time I forgot to send the starter directions. I mean, my poor friend, like down the road, she's like, hey Meg, Luke has a super bad headache. And I'm like, oh, I forgot to send starter directions. Like they started everything full-fledged. And my friend Meg, she's like, oh my word, I didn't have any detox. So I must be super healthy. Like she was super pumped. Her husband was like in a corner in the ball from his headache because of the die-off. But I share these things because I want to remember what it was. I want to be relatable, like at silver, and my mindset when I was between silver and gold, like what that was like. It was scary to me. But the one thing that I would say, and I kind of already said this, but from silver to sapphire has been a big fat learning curve. And do better than me and lead with not just products, but lead with the business as well. And when I say lead with the business, if you have people in your, on your friends list or, in your life that you just, maybe they're not even like business mindset, but they have great people skills. They love people. They're relational. Don't be afraid to you can just plant the seed in their brain. Like, you'll be awesome at Plexus. Something super simple, like in the course of conversation, you don't have to be weird and like make people awkward, but you can just plant that little seed there. Like, oh my word, I'd love to have you on my team. If you ever decide to give it a try, like, I'd love that. I think that you would be great at what I do. You love people well. You can tell them why you think they would be good at it. It's that simple. Like, it's just simply conversing. It's just relationship. It's like this business is so relationship oriented. And I'll also just share a quick story that you never know. You may be like 2 weeks away from signing up a rock star. Until you sign that person, you be the rock star. So you be the person that's doing the IPA every day, that's chatting with people, that's signing up people with welcome packs and convenience orders, that's following up, that's tagging, your newbies in the posts and things like that on the team page. I'll just share about my friend Lynn. We're at a friend's wedding. Lynn was the pianist, and I ended up sitting next to her at the reception. She has 5 kids. They're a little bit older than mine, but 5 kids. She teaches music, so instant connection. So anyways, where's my phone? Hey, we should be friends on Facebook so we can connect. So we connected. Guess what? She started seeing my Plexus posts. And then she's messaged me. I think she messaged me or she commented. Maybe I reached out to her and just said, hey, are you doing Plexus too? Anyways, long story short, she did not want to share the products right away, although she told me she'd be good at it. I'm like, okay, no worries. But just keep it in mind, because you may have people that ask you what you're doing, or who do you know that's struggling with health issues, or really, remember, Lynn, your friends and family, they don't have to have your story in order for them to see results themselves. So just keep that in mind. I didn't push, honestly. This is kind of what's happened over the course of my journey, is like, I've been like, okay, no worries. You don't want to share? That's fine. Now I push back a little bit on that, just to plant the seeds in their mind, like you could do it, even before you see results. But at some point, some people decide to hop in. I don't know what clicks with them. Anyways, 2 months in, Lynn said, hey, I think I'm ready to make my first Facebook post. So I'm like, okay, perfect. What are you going to say? She's like, okay, I think I know what I'm going to say. Da, da, da. So she did. Well, in the course of the past 6 weeks, her team is like, she's already made Leaders Retreat. I think she signed like 30 or more people. I don't know. Her goal for this month was 40 people. I mean, she was going to like fast start senior gold or something. It's insane. She didn't fast start gold, but she's added a lot of people really fast. So I share that because I did not know her prior to Plexus. When I started Plexus, I did not know Lynn. 2 years later, I met Lynn at a wedding. Okay, similar story with this other new friend named Jody. We were at the Ark Encounter, sat down to dinner, and this cute family sat next to us. And so we instantly connected. They had a 3-week-old baby, 5 kids. Justin was chatting with the grandpa. They're connected talk about the Lord and stuff like that. So anyways, there again, hey, we should connect. We're so much alike. I'm sure that we have a lot to connect on. She started to see my Plexus posts, and she messaged me. She's like, hey, I think I need some of that. What is that? Turns out she's a nurse practitioner, and she was like 2 days short, or maybe 4, I don't remember, a couple days short of going Fast Start Gold. So there again, your team can double or triple or quadruple very fast. And the key is staying consistent. You be a connector. I could have easily have been in my little corner, not connecting with people, but instead, connecting, sharing, talking with people. I didn't talk about Plexus with them when I first met them, but they saw me sharing about it on Facebook, and they were tracking with that, and they messaged me. And so I share those things because that happens. And you don't have to know. I mean, that's the thing, is that you always have to be meeting new people. And I know Angie, we're on the other call here a few minutes ago, and she said, we was at an event, or a Plexus event, and one of the girls she was chatting with said, if you want your team to grow, you have to do events. She said, get out of your zone and go do some vendor events. And Angie said she's done like 6 this year so far, and she has 8 more planned. I'm like, oh my word. But she said every vendor event, pretty much she's signed either a new customer or new ambassador, at the very least. And so it's this whole idea of networking, just getting out of your comfort zone, simply sharing with people. So let's chat about that question we got about we're having trouble closing people. So okay, let me talk about this really quick. The closing the deal. If you go to the Megan's Notes section of the team page, I have like what I do from the initial reach out all the way through the conversation, like usually how it goes. So I ask a lot of questions. So if someone says, see the price and then don't buy it, I usually try to defer the price question for a long time. I just simply start asking them more questions. So usually people are like, okay, what is it exactly? And then I share a little bit with them, and they're like, okay, so how much is it? And I'm like, so then from that, I don't necessarily just say, oh, it's $100. And then because then they're like, okay, no thanks, way too expensive. So I'll say something like, oh yeah, tell me what your goals are. What are your health goals? Like I always ask that, what are your health goals? And then they'll tell me, and I'm like, okay. And then they're like, well, how much is it? And then I'll say, well, we need to chat about whether you should be a preferred customer or an ambassador, because it depends on your commitment level. Like, are you just wanting to try this for 2 months, or are you like committing for 4 to 6 months? What are your thoughts on that? And so we might, depending on what their health goals are, we might be talking about several different products. And this is the thing. I love Brooke Hemingway in her video. I'm guilty of underselling big time, assuming that people think it's too expensive. When in reality, other companies, it costs at least $200 or $300 to join, to get the product, to get the set of products or whatever. And so I am going to make it my habit to always suggest the Fab Five. I think Triplex and X Factor needs to be our go-to. Every single person needs to be on Triplex plus X Factor. And I would also add in that fifth one, which is Mega X. I think that's so important. Vital Biome is awesome. And the X Factor Plus, we already talked about that. But, and then if people say, oh man, I can't do all that. Well, then say, well, how about we start with Triplex? If they tell me Triplex is too expensive, then I'm like, okay, well, everyone needs a probiotic. You can at the very least do ProBio 5. Let's just see what you think. If they aren't willing to do that, I say, hey, what about our 7-day challenge? You want to just try it for $25? Hop in for the week, see what you think. There's a money back guarantee. Literally, you're not out anything. And so a lot of times it's like asking questions, and I keep it super, super short. So if someone tells me, okay, you can get it at Walmart, no, you can't. That's not Plexus. That's some kind of cheapo knockoff thing, and I wouldn't feel bad telling someone that. So not the same thing. Okay, gifting it to people. I've done this. People don't value it. Like, I have there's been a couple exceptions to the rule on this, but pretty much I don't gift people triplexes anymore, because they'll be like, oh, it's still in my cabinet. I haven't taken it. I'm like, hello, people, then you don't value what I gave you. You're not even willing to take the products. So people, I've realized they kind of have to invest in order to really take it seriously. So offering specials. Sometimes it's just timing for people. For whatever reason, maybe they don't value their health at that level. And honestly, I don't think Plexus is expensive. People that are on medications and people that are sick spend a lot of money on their sickness. And even working with my naturopath, that was like a no-brainer for me. When I saw Plexus, even just ProBio 5 was like, I'm spending $100 on a probiotic. And I'm also having to buy enzymes and all this other stuff. So for ProBio 5 to be $29 or whatever it is, pretty much a no-brainer. I'll give it a try. Let's see if it works. So I think some people, maybe they don't supplement, but supplementation, wherever you buy it from, isn't cheap. And so that's kind of my stance on that. And I think people catch your confidence level. Like, if you're like, oh my word, you think it's expensive? And then share. You can even share my story. Well, my friend Megan was on like a $100 probiotic, and when she saw Plexus had one that was more comprehensive and a fourth of the price, it was like total no-brainer. ProBio 5 is like the gateway, just FYI. So if you can get them on ProBio 5, they may end up being a happy customer or an ambassador at some point. So this one, okay, how much is it to sign up? I think these messages are too long. I was looking at them and I'm like, okay, that's why. They're too many words. So usually, okay, how much is it to sign up? I would say it's $34.95. That's all I would say. Or I might say it's $34.95 plus your products. And I would keep it like one-liner and chit-chat back and forth. Ask questions where they have to say yes. The more yeses you get, the more likely you'll continue to get yeses. And then when I start to get how much is it to sign up, I would move it to a phone call and say, oh, hey, I would love to chat with you. I have time in like 15 minutes. Can we chat real quick? Move it to a phone call. Most of the time, if you can move it to a phone call, you'll be successful at signing them up. Because you can chit-chat back and forth. And also have them tell you their commitment level. Because once they tell you what their commitment level is, then you say, okay, girl, you need to be an ambassador. No brainer here. You'll get paid off your own products, and it's cheapest. The only time I wouldn't sign up someone as an ambassador is if they don't want to order the full triplex. They just want to try 1 or 2 products, or they're super skeptical, or they're old and they don't want to mess with the website. Otherwise, I pretty much tell people, like, you need the best price. So it's like a Sam's Club membership. Pay the $34 and get your triplex. Hey, are you ready to do it? I'll help you. I mean, but I would say as much as you can, move them to a phone call. Keep it super, super short on the responses. I liked this one. The chit chat is good, Chelsea. I think it's good to be chit chatty, like back and forth. I really liked how you went back and forth, Jessica, on this one, and you shared about how much you were spending on junk food or whatever. And then, are you taking any multivitamins or probiotics? That's good to ask questions. And then no response 3 days ago. So I would just reach back out, say, what would I say? I would say something like, hey, this would be me. Okay, so if the conversation trailed off like that, I would probably say, hey, what was her name? Hey, whoever. I'm sending out samples today. I was curious if I could pop a stick in the mail for me. Send me your address. Most people won't say, no, I'm not going to send you my address. Offer something free or offer something for her. Or you could say, so taking any vitamins or probiotics, I would maybe say, hey, we're doing a 7-day challenge right now. Are you at all intrigued about that? I would love for you to try and see what you think about Plexus. I would love to hear your feedback. So one friend that wanted to do, and she has this slim, but then the husband was like, if it doesn't work, you can't do it next month. Well, sometimes they just have to try one product until they can afford more. And I feel like there's not a one size fits all, even with our reach outs and our follow-ups and our chit-chatting back and forth. Like, my coaching would just be try to make it short, as short and sweet as possible, and then just keep the ball bouncing back and forth. And if the ball dropped and no one's picked it back up, don't feel bad to pick it back up and then bounce it back. Like, hey, I know that we were chit-chatting the other day. I totally thought of you in light of this video I just saw. Do you care if I send it over to you? I'd love your feedback. Like, sometimes just asking a quick question or reaching out after you've watched a certain video about the products or maybe about the business or whatever you think would track with them, and just reach back out to them. And if they decide like it's not for them, and sometimes I frame it like, hey, if you are totally not interested in Plexus, no worries. Like, I won't ask you again if you're not curious, but I want to be a good friend, and it's been such a blessing to me that I love to share it with people. So, okay, tell me what you guys think of these things. And it feels really weird to me to be doing a monologue like this, so I like feedback. Go ahead and unmute if you have, something you want to chime in or a specific question about like the closing thing. And there's videos on YouTube if you type in like Plexus and closing the deal. There's probably some heavy hitter diamond girls that have trainings on this. Far better, more, what's the word? Better, wording videos and trainings than I'm doing. But I'm just kind of sharing what I say or what I do. Keeping it short and sweet and moving it to a phone call. I feel like the two are highly effective things. Or, if people are interested, move it right away to a chat with the upline. But you call them your friend, not actually, this is my upline. Like, hey, my friend Shelby is so awesome. She has a lot of product knowledge, a lot of, knowledge with health and wellness. Mind if I add her in and she can chit chat with us and share what she knows? That's highly effective for people. And people that do that go silver pretty quick. Okay, any quick questions? You guys are troopers. It's getting late.
Off of the closing, I have a question on, I had somebody come up the other day that's on depression medications. So I'm not sure, I haven't really been able to find info on that.
So anyone that's on depression meds, they should just ask their pharmacist, like if they want to do triplex. Actually that accelerator has an ingredient called 5-HTP, and some people, and it's a mood enhancer. Some people are able to wean off their meds by doing accelerator, which is interesting. But I would never recommend. I would always say work with your doctor, check with your pharmacist on this. But a lot of people see great things when they get on the triplex, or X Factor and Vital Biome. Vital Biome is the probiotic that specifically deals with people that have anxiety and depression type issues.
Okay. Do you know if there's any stories or anything about people, like the way, I know people come off of the meds, but is there anything kind of saying how if they cut back on meds, kind of the process of how they went through it?
Yeah, you could probably ask on the team page. Or are you in any chat threads? Maybe probably the team page, or just type it in. Sometimes Jessica Heffley's Diamond Tea page has threads, lots of information. So if you type in like antidepressants or depression meds, sometimes it'll bring those things up, and you can see conversations and questions that people have asked. I'm trying to think if I know of anyone. There's someone I might be able to connect you with, actually. I think she's off her depression meds and how that worked.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like when people are on insulin to level out their blood sugars. When they get on Plexus, they have to figure out how to balance all that, because Plexus helps to balance, and so they don't need as much of their medication usually.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question too. Like basically same thing, diabetics on medication and coming off. Is there examples of that? Because I have somebody interested who's on medication, but I don't want anybody bottoming out on me either if they, started on meds.
I just tell them to work with their doctor. Okay. And I mean, there's this doctor that just joined our team, and he said like he was totally tracking with the gut part of Plexus, and then he also said in Plexus Slim, he said that is awesome, because he said doctors will tell diabetic patients that they need to right away up their chromium intake, and so Plexus has helped a lot of people wean off of medications. But you know what, my sponsor's dad was on, I don't know, he's on some, I think he's still on some meds, but not nearly as many as he was. His blood sugar is way better controlled. I think that they have to give themselves like insulin depending on where their blood sugar is at. So it might be somewhat easy to do. It's not like a medication they take. But they take more or less depending on where their sugars are, maybe. I'll ask about that, though, because that's a good question.
Okay, thank you.
It would be kind of a similar question for people on thyroid meds as well. There is a file on the team page called Thyroid and Plexus. You can download it to your computer and then print it off, or just save it. It's good information. People that are on thyroid meds need to space out their products by 4 hours. So.
And my girl that is on thyroid meds, you saw that she commented on something the other day, and I sent her that file.
Oh, yeah.
She's having trouble, I know she said, with spacing it from when she takes her medication. So if that really kind of throws her off, what do you suggest suggest for her to see if she can at least maybe gut health? Should I say, if it's really that hard for you to keep up with it, try doing the ProBio and BioCleans, or?
Well, the Slim, as long as she trying to take it before breakfast, because some people think that you have to take Slim the same time every day. And you can take it after lunch or before bed. People take it different times.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I think she was mostly having trouble. She takes her medication when she wakes up, and then, having to wait the 4 hours and then forgetting. And I told her I drank it in the evening before, just depending on your energy level in the first place, how tired you are. you could be fine to do it, a little afternoon or even as an afternoon pick me up, just kind of depending on where you're at. Yeah, I think she's kind of wanting to make that point to do it semi early, but then forgetting once she gets busy with her day.
So have her drink it right before lunch, like 15 minutes before she eats her lunch. That's what I would suggest.
Okay.
Sorry, I missed everything because my phone died.
Oh,
I'm not sure what. So
it's recording.
I got on my computer, but I don't have Zoom on my computer, or my laptop. So I just was trying to get back on. So what did I miss?
I don't remember. What were we talking?
We were talking. I think we were talking about like wording and stuff and how to reach out to people.
Okay. I don't remember.
We switched to meds. We switched to depression meds and diabetic medications to thyroid.
Okay, well, sorry.
Any other quick questions? Jessica, do you have any quick questions?
I had one earlier. Now I can't think of it. But what was it? I had one on the tip of my tongue, and then we got talking something else. So you said the Secret Code of Success, to read that, and then was there another book that you recommended too?
Oh, the IPA journal?
Okay, I have that.
Okay. Yeah, those are the top two.
I couldn't remember if it was an actual book or the journal.
Yeah, the journal, yeah.
Okay. And then I know I bought it, but now I actually need to use it. So, and like I have a problem. I message people on Facebook, like with the Facebook Messenger, and then so like I've kind of been keeping track that way and scrolling back through, and okay, I haven't talked to this person in a while, and I haven't talked to this person in a while, and then so I actually need to write it down and put it in the book, and then put it a few days later put it in the book again so I can follow up with them instead of being like, oh, I forgot about this person.
Or if you have your reach outs that you write down every day for the month, and then the next month you can look back and say, okay, those people that I reached out to a month ago, those will be my follow-ups. Today is September 1st. I'm going to look back at August 1st and make those people my follow-ups. So it is a good tracker system. Okay, well, guys, thanks so much for hopping on. Any quick questions? Any other things?
Thank you, Megan, for doing this too.
Yeah.
I appreciate it majorly.
Awesome. Yeah.
I really enjoy Zooms. I don't know why. I'm just kind of weird, but I'm the blue personality. I just like to talk to people, especially when your children are, the only ones you talk to all day. So
yeah, adult conversation.
And it was nice to meet
people.
Yeah. It's
we
nice
can actually see.
Melinda, thanks for popping on.
Yeah. She's brand new.
Having me. I'm like a sponge. I just absorb everything people say. I have a question. You've been talking about colors of people. Is there like a definition or like a explanation or something that I can look at as far as like what colors are certain people? Is there like a book or like a little pamphlet or something like that?
Yeah.
That you guys were talking about?
So
I got it.
You got it? Oh, awesome.
Yeah. The 4 color personalities of network marketing. And
I don't have the actual book. I've got the title, and I kind of took notes from Googling to look it up. Kind of cheated around the book, actually reading the book.
It's like 30, you can read it in 30 minutes. It's a really quick read, but it gives you insight to the people in your life, your kids, your family, people as you reach out to them. You start to see even yourself, like you just become more self-aware, just people skills. It's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think even on Facebook, on Facebook, you can actually see the different personalities come out in people. So sometimes when you're messaging them, you can almost go from that angle and just know what they're kind of a little bit more what they're like.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Plexus YouTube video about it too.
Oh.
I found the quiz.
I can't remember who did it. I'll look it up. I'll tag
That
you.
would be great.
I like
great.
to find out what everybody is too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know Megan, you're red and you're a little bit of green, and Chelsea, you said you were yellow and mostly yellow and a little bit of probably a little bit of red.
Yeah,
Blue.
I'd say you're a little bit red.
Good. I hope so.
And then Jessica, you said you were. Did you say you were what colors? You said you were a little bit red and business minded. And then was it green and yellow? Not very many of you guys are blue.
That would be blue.
You would be blue?
I don't know what color I'd be. I don't even know what they are.
I can't wait to hear. You're gonna have to let me know. Also, Chelsea, you should add Belinda to just the messages on like the Shelby's call. Then that way she can just see until you have your. She can ask questions there too.
Oh, trust me, I've asked so many questions to Chelsea. She's probably sick of me.
No.
I am. I mean, I'm like learning, and I got like 3 people already lined up and ready to rock and roll. And
yes, she signed up an ambassador today already.
Awesome.
I did. I have another one. She just hasn't got on and done it. So
Awesome.
excited.
Go, Belinda.
Oh yeah.
That's
I'm a people person. I yap to everybody. Anybody who listens to me, I'll talk to them.
Probably work well.
I know.
Okay,
Chelsea talks to me,
Belinda,
and we.
you and I are
I'm trying. I just the only reason why I researched Plexus, and was comparing it to a couple other things, and I met a lady that was like 30 minutes from me, and I really fell in love with her story about. It wasn't about her losing weight. It was about her being healthy. And my goal was I want to feel like I'm not so dang tired all the time. Of course, I'm in my early 50s and going through the menopausal garbage. And moods, forget it. And I have 9 grandbabies, and I try to keep up with everybody. And it's like, I never get any sleep. It's like, I got to quit doing this. So I've been really struggling with figuring out how or why I'm always so tired. And asking the doctors like, oh, here, take this pill, take that pill. I'm not a pill person. I don't like masking something to fix something. I want to fix me so I can be me again. And my kids are like, you're always mom. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I said, you guys just don't get it. And so being on Plexus for it'll be 2 weeks. I have fingernails that I never had before. I don't know where they come from. And my husband's like, holy crap, scratch my back. And I'm like, get out of here. I could not believe how much my fingernails have grown. I'm like, and they don't break. I actually tried to open a Walmart bag tonight that I tied, and I poked my index finger, and I thought I was going to put my fingernail right through my finger. And they usually just snap off. So I'm like, something is happening here. And I'm not tired anymore. I get up every day, and I'm like excited about my day. I got so many things to do. I don't get anything done because I'm usually talking to Chelsea about Plexus. So it's like I have to ask all these questions. Like, I need to know this. She's like, if I can't get the answer, I'll ask. And she's done that for me, and it's like remarkable. But it's like my hair, I got these little wings growing on, and I got my hair cut not even 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, what is happening? So I can see what is happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I had a girl at work the other day. She's like, you need a massage. And she's rubbing me and she's like, your skin is so soft. I'm like, it is? I'm like, it is? And she's like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. I said, oh, it's plexus. It's got to be plexus. And she's like, what's plexus? So trust me, I got like 15 people at work going, what is it? Bring your book. Talk to me.
Get them on. Get them going.
So I'm like truly excited just because to share a 2-week story of how much energy I have. And I don't drink pop anymore. Yay for me. Yay. That was one of my big goals, to not drink Dr. Pepper anymore. And water. My husband's like, we just bought water in the water cooler. Why is it gone? I said, well, Chelsea said I had to drink half my weight in ounces. So that's what I've been doing. And it's like, my skin is like awesome. I'm like, I just noticed these weird things. And I guess I'm just like very in tune. So I had some friends that she's like, what do you do? And I said, you just shake this thing in your water bottle, shake it up and drink it. And she's like, I'm gonna try it. So I did. And she's like, yeah. How do I stay on it now? Because I feel awesome. I'm like, here, I'll give you my website. Sign up, And I'm like, it depends. Do you want to sell it? Do you want to make money off of it? Do you just enjoy the product? She's like, well, I just like to try the product first. I'm like, okay, that works for me. I said, and then once you get in it, you're never going to go back.
No.
And she's like, sweet. So she's going to.
So have you talked about Fast Start Gold?
No.
Oh, you better chat about that.
Did we talk about that, Chelsea?
I know we talked about silver. I mentioned the possibility of fast starts, but not specifically like what it takes to get to gold, because I'm not even fabulous on that. But
you can tag her in the information on One Team. There's a couple of posts. Angie did a video, and there's some other videos that tell about it.
Yeah, I think I seen the ways it pays, and kind of it has like a little bit of guidelines for like going gold and stuff on there. If not, I thought I sent it, but I could always resend it.
I know you sent me charts, and I have looked at them too. But I'm such a visual person. I'm always YouTubing something. I'm a crafty freak. So I look at something when I go out to like a store or whatever. I'm like, oh, I can make that. But then I got to figure out how to make it. So it's like I'm always Googling. I'm always YouTubing. My kids are always like, what are you doing? I said, never you mind. And then when I make something, everybody wants it. I'm like, nope, it's one of a kind. Sorry. That's just me. But
I think you're green for sure. I think your color is green.
I'm just
info gatherer and all about data, stuff like that, research.
I am. Yeah. I like to research a lot of things.
I think you're green. I'll send you the quiz for that.
I might have to do that.
That's so fun.
Is there a purple? Because that's my favorite color.
No, I wish. Me too.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you, Belinda, for sharing. I loved hearing your results so far. That's awesome.
Yes, it's so fast. I love it. Like almost instant results, and you can't have something go better with somebody new signing up, and especially as an ambassador, as having like almost instant results. I'm like, this is perfect.
Yay!
Well, I did, but I didn't understand. The one thing I did not understand is how I had like. I used to get migraines when I was a kid growing up and everything else. Even when I was pregnant with my children, I had really horrible migraines, but I haven't had them in so long. And then when I started drinking the Slim, I kept every now and then I would like get like these twinges of lightning bolts just in my eyes and in the back of my head. And I'm like, it's like eating ice cream and getting a brain freeze. That's what it felt like. And I'm like, what is going on? I don't have that anymore. And then as I was researching, it's like, migraines? Weird thing. That must be a sign of plexus. Not because I had a migraine, because I didn't. I didn't have no headache, no symptoms of a headache anyways. But I just kept getting them twinges. And it's like, ow. But they're gone. So it must be something of figuring out something in my system to change. And I'm like, So my girlfriend, who's on it too, she actually triggered a migraine the other day when she was doing hers when she's on it. And she's like, I had a migraine, but I wasn't sure if it was because the doctor lowered my meds or if it's because I introduced Slim also. Like, it could have been a combination of both. I said probably because they lowered your meds and your body's trying to react differently to it. I have lots of, I have a dad who now has, he's got many medical issues, but just recently he was diagnosed with cancer. Not one form of cancer, but 2 forms of cancer. He's such a trooper, and if anyone knows my father, he's like the big rock, and nothing gets him down, and he has zero. If you asked him if he was in pain, I mean, he can, like, seriously, if he was in mega pain, he would go, I don't feel nothing. I swear he's like a saint, that he has no pain. I think God put no pain in him, no feeling of pain. Just by watching him go through a horrible surgery that he had to have a blood clot removed from his lung. And the doctor said he will come out of the OR screaming at the top of his lungs because it is the most painful surgery you could ever have. When people have a collapsed lung and they have to go back in and expand it back up, and they break your ribs in the side of you to get that to work, you are supposed to be in such dire pain. My dad came out and said, what in the heck is on my back? What is this? It's bothering me. Get it off. And it was just the glue that was holding the internal stitches all together, because you get cut from like the middle of your back all the way around to the front, right underneath your right breast, so they can get their hands in there. He never once had a solitude of pain, nothing. He never complained of any kind of pain at all. He just said, this sticker stuff is bugging me, get it off. And then he just had his leg cut the other day. He fell out of bed and got 14 stitches. And he's like, I don't know, something's twitching down there. Can you fix it? And he just is he's such an encouraging person that he had colon cancer. They did surgery on that to take part of his colon out. And the doctor, he's like, he's going to come out of there with pain. Even when he comes up out of his sedation, he's going to have pain. And he leaned over and he was poking my dad like really hard in the stomach. He's like, does this hurt? Does this hurt? Does this hurt? And my dad goes, no. Can I eat? And I'm like, oh my God, where is your pain sense? I have a really high pain tolerance too, but not like him. That's like, he's just such an encouraging person, and he's 77 years old, and we're now going to go through having part of his lung removed to get the cancer out of his system. So we'll see. It's like, he's such an encouraging person, but I go through struggles. So we'll get through this too. But that was another reason why I decided to do Plexus, because of the gut. And with cancer being inside your colon and stuff, I am now at risk, a bigger risk of having it rather than anyone who doesn't have cancer in their family.
Right.
So that's one of my big goals, is to stay on top of me being healthy.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure too, the Healthy Pink Perspective group has testimonies on plexus and cancer too. So yeah, if you want to search,
look at that.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for hopping on tonight.
Okay, everybody go to bed.
Good night.
Great night. We'll pop off, and I can post the link in the chat thread tomorrow.
Okay. Sounds great.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.